camera's a new addition.
All right.
Welcome to the Matty B Files,
Whoa.
Tokyo Field Reports.
There it is.
I'm with, what's your name on this podcast?
My name is Mickey Acorn.
Mickey Acorn.
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether to go Crickets, Dickie. There's a few
died.
different titles you go by.
Yeah.
And some of them you are a little bit more specific on than others when it comes to being on camera. Those other names can remain relatively anonymous.
Right. Yeah.
I just half leaked.
That was the point.
I dribbled your alternative names.
Yeah, it was
on the podcast.
It was funny when I started playing drums in Tokyo and people were saying like, "Oh, hey, Dickie," right?
Yeah.
And I got this like kind of horrifying feeling like, "Oh my God, that's my identity in Tokyo, is Dickie."
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's nothing remotely like your actual name.
well, yeah, and and a little, yeah. I think I'm a little more optimistic of a person than Dickie Crickets is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
Well, I'll just, you could listen to this podcast at MatthewPandBigelow.com. You can catch us out on YouTube now on Matt Bigelow. Just search Matt Bigelow, Mickey Acorn. We're recording this outside. It's a field report in Ebisu on Canada Day.
That's Canada right. Happy Canada Day, man.
We're Canadians in Tokyo, and you're playing at the Dickens?
That's right. Yeah.
We were gossiping. By we, I mean Mike, Hannah, Jude, and I yesterday. This is my fourth podcast this weekend about What the Dickens, how you get the best and the worst of the Tokyo gaijins at What the Dickens.
Oh, yeah?
You get really rich, suave leather traders, and then you also get like scummy, shirtless, like smelly white dudes.
Is it a pirate?
I don't know.
It's
it's a weird thing. But you're playing there tonight.
Yes, yeah.
And so we're going to talk about a few things here. Yeah. You were on the podcast like 2 years ago.
That's right, yeah.
Like quite a while.
Yep.
How you been?
Good. For anybody who actually listened to that podcast and is listening now, good.
Yeah.
So we talked before about my idea of adding value, and we talked about how I felt like mostly musicians around kind of undervalue themselves, the idea of playing for free or paying to play, and that they didn't seem to want to create any value. And sometimes that just means making a CD, right?
What, you mean economic value?
Well, something value.
Okay.
Like to, how can you take effort and like try to translate effort, whether that's money, because that's usually how the world works, right? Your effort gives you money, right?
Scotch won't buy itself.
That's right, yeah. But there's people who say things like, well, hey, you got to pay musicians because, like you wouldn't expect a plumber to clean your pipes for free.
Wink, wink.
Right? Right? That's what he said.
Yeah.
I
know a plumber that'll clean your pipes for free.
All right. So that analogy for me doesn't work because like there are not 1,000 people practicing how to clean pipes every weekend for free. Like it's
Nichome.
Well, there you're sticking with
just
your metaphors.
But I know what you mean. There's the level of entry, the quality that exists at the level of entry of musicianship is so high that the value available in that pool with declining returns on music, it does create that. You can't compare it to a plumber.
Right, yeah. No, I don't think you can.
Yeah.
There just wouldn't be that, there's a reason why things have value, but you can also just yourself, I think, devalue your worth. And so instead of thinking about live shows, I've spent the last actually 3 years writing a zombie folk rock opera.
This is the 3 years. It's
been 3. It started as a recording thing.
What's that?
That's when I write a song at the same time I record it.
Okay.
And so I may start with creating a drum loop and then some guitar parts, and then all in the same day, try to write lyrics and try to
just
do a
get
whole
it
song.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
so.
Cool.
That was just one day I decided that my recording lyrics were going to be about a guy who didn't believe his girlfriend about the zombie apocalypse, so he wanted to go to Dairy Queen, and then she gets killed in the drive-thru, and he escapes and spends his time, feeling guilty about getting his girlfriend killed. So that was one song, one
Why
week.
Dairy Queen?
I have if I'm gonna mention a restaurant or a fast food place, I'm not gonna mention like McDonald's or Burger King. In my hometown, the Dairy Queen is kind of like
family-centric.
Special. Well, it's the hot eats cool treats. You can get sundaes, you can get burgers.
And they had the ice cream pizzas for a while.
That's right. Yeah.
Blizzards, you can hold them upside down.
Right. Yeah.
As if that's not dodgy.
So I don't know. I just always like that, and I also love a song called "The Dairy Queen" by Clem Snide.
Sure.
It's a great song. So I don't know. When you're recording, there's not a lot of time to be critical about the lyrical content. You just kind of go with it.
You self-impose deadlines.
Yeah, it's that kind of day, like I'm going to finish this in a day. And sometimes I make a completely bizarre song. Sometimes I make something that sounds like my band might play it. But it's been my process since like 2002.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So this recording led into... So was there a song, like a couple of songs put together, and there was something like thematic?
Yeah, so...
You connected some dots?
Basically, yeah. So the next week, I thought, well, now he's on his own. What would he do? What would happen?
Okay.
And, in writing, people talk about answering the questions.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's like you can do anything. You can have the most amazing sci-fi movie or whatever.
500 elephants.
Yeah, but you gotta
Cleaning your pipes.
You gotta answer that question. Why were there 500 elephants?
Cleaning pipes.
Yeah, cleaning pipes. So it might be that there was a magician who created some elephants. It could be that, whatever. So anyway, I kind of started to answer the questions I had about, well, what happens during the zombie apocalypse? What year was it taking place?
Okay.
And that came much later. So it's interesting how some of the pop culture references, I had to answer the question by saying that, well, in the future, there are just some things. Like, for example, M. Night Shyamalan becomes one of the most respected, directors in the 20s. Like he starts making these...
Is that an Indian guy?
M. Night Shyamalan, the twist guy,
What's that? I have no
I
idea.
See Dead People.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of his movies end in a twist, and and so he talks about that director. Now it's set in 2046, so
the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, the zombie apocalypse happens in 2046. That's right. Bruce Willis.
That's why he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
It's because his life is over.
So with my band, we started playing the first 3 songs in our set, sometimes together, like in a kind of narrative way where I was telling about the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
But by the time I finished the final song, I realized the biggest question was, how would people ever see or hear these songs that the guy wrote during his journey in the zombie apocalypse, right? So he finds a guitar, right? So that's,
Sure.
he's got a guitar, so now he's writing these songs. But why would you hear them? And so that's where...
Yeah, why?
Well, I can tell you a little bit because... we can see on the... Yeah, we have a camera, don't we?
We do.
This is a philosophy textbook.
Called?
Okay, it's just called
The Stinker.
Philosophy 101,
Okay.
selections from the works of the Western world's greatest thinkers.
That guy's taking a dump, and you know it.
And you can see the zombie eating his head.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens is the character, me.
Sure.
Okay. He finds this textbook from a zombie college kid and starts to use it as his journal to Lucy, the girl he got killed at Dairy Queen. So he's telling Lucy about what he's doing, where he is, who he meets, and how they relate to the lyrics that he has also written. There's the Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
And so the lyrics to the songs are all here. diary entries are here, and a lot of like terrible sketches. He's 18 years old. His artistic skills are terrible, just like me.
Okay.
So it was really easy to
Sure.
get into character and make these crude drawings. And I don't know if I can find something like
What's
that.
that?
That's one of the Oak Street gangs. They were the cannibal group that he had a run-in with. Their slogan was "Loyalty feeds us."
I propose to treat of poetry in itself and its various kinds, noting the essential quality of each, to inquire into the structure of the plot as requisite to a good poem. This is from Aristotle.
Yeah.
But, so, this is really convoluted.
How so?
In a good way.
Okay.
Because it's layered.
Okay.
So, like, the fact that you have the book in and of itself.
Right, as like the evidence.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's a document. When you pulled out the book, I was like, what, is he going to read philosophy on the podcast? And so, how does this, there's a Nazi symbol.
Yeah.
Or is that a Buddhist symbol?
No, that's Nazi.
Sieg Heil style?
No, basically the reason there is a zombie apocalypse is because a secret American government organization called the No Vent 46. It happens November 15th, 2046.
Yeah.
It's called the No Vent 46 Committee.
November event.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
And what it is it was supposed to be the release of a population control virus
Okay.
that would decrease the world population over a few generations, kind of keep us sailing,
Oh,
right?
so like
Keep
the
us
slow
sailing.
boil.
Slow boil, like, suddenly infertility goes up and we get
That's
we
what
get
we're
back to
having
like
right now.
5 billion people, let's say,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But oh no, mutation,
Oh.
zombie virus.
And and this affects the whole population?
Well, yeah, it spreads and decreases the world population by 50% in
Whoa.
6 weeks. Yeah,
6 weeks.
yeah, like 6 weeks.
And this is how does this in the timeline? How does this relate to the Dairy Queen event?
The Dairy Queen is that night.
Of
So it
the
was
No
like,
Vent.
Yeah, of the No Vent. So one of the small
Okay.
towns that it was supposed to
Maybe get this mic a bit closer.
Okay,
Chris.
into the water supply.
Yeah.
They didn't. They wanted it to be a slow spread because it was supposed to take 2 generations, right? So they used small towns, and this guy in the small town, he didn't believe that there were really zombies. It's just conspiracy theories and all that stuff. And it turned out Lucy was right. The girlfriend.
The girl who died.
Yeah, that's right. Some zombie soup.
Zombie soup. How does this relate with the songs?
So basically, if you would imagine that he finds this book, he starts writing a diary, and then he finds a man who gives him a choice between a gun and a guitar. And he chooses the guitar, and so then that's kind of what happens. So now, what would you choose? The gun or the guitar?
In a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah.
The gun.
The gun?
Of course.
Do you watch a lot of zombie stuff?
Guns don't really work against zombies, do they?
Well, it's that they're noisy, and they eventually will run out of bullets.
Yes.
So they're better for the humans that you're going to have to deal with. So
in the short term.
that's the trouble, right?
Like in the movie The Road, the guy had like 2 bullets.
Yeah.
He had to be really conservative.
Because he wanted to kill his son and himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I love that. I love that movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
People are like, it's so dark. Like, what did you expect? It's called The Road and it's about the apocalypse.
Yeah.
The apocalypse was a bummer, man.
Yeah.
Do you know the
old? Do you know the old movie Batteries Not Included?
Yeah.
It's like the little spaceships.
Yeah.
One of my parents' friends said, it just wasn't very realistic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Not realistic.
You know what? Now that you mention it, it is weird that these batteries would be necessary for alien lifecraft. Why?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
That's not as bad as having to upload a computer virus to an alien spaceship to save America on Independence Day.
Yeah. So the guy gets a guitar
Yeah.
instead of a gun, and then he reverse engineers his notes into a musical?
It's not that he is creating the musical. He's just creating the songs that he's writing.
Okay.
And for some reason, just before, like I can't, I don't want to like just give away everything, right?
I get it.
But I can say, I guess, that like just before he turned into a zombie, I'm a zombie.
Yeah.
Okay. Just before I turned into a zombie, I sang all of the songs that I wrote in the notebook.
Okay.
Actually, 2 of the songs don't actually appear in the notebook. The lyrics are not in the notebook,
sure.
but
That's
basically,
fine.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair enough.
But yeah, so you got to come see it, and then you'll be able to put the pieces of what I've said together.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I knew that you were writing this zombie folk opera because you asked Dead Sea Dropouts maybe to do some.
That's right. Yeah.
But it were just like cost and busyness.
Yeah, and you guys were recording, I think, at the time. Yeah.
So that was a big factor as well.
For sure. Yeah.
And
who's this guy with a zombie folk rock
Well,
opera?
yeah. So this
Right?
this is Sunday, July 22nd, 7 p.m. 2,000 yen. That's very reasonable.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I mean,
what the dickens? A zombie folk rock opera.
Right.
Who's the band?
This is it would be the third bassist Sen City Sinners. So we've had basically 3 bass players in our band.
Yeah.
And we had, like I said, we workshopped the songs as they came down the pipe over time, right? And then our original keyboard player was not available for this date, so we were really lucky to get Midnight Snake's guitar player, Benjamin Anderson.
Yeah.
So he's joined as the
Jay
keyboard.
Ken.
That's right. Yeah.
He's been on the podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
And also
another drummer, singer, songwriter.
Tom Molesky as well.
Yes,
I always say Tom Molensky. Tom Molesky.
Yes.
Is also in this. He was
That's
on the
right.
podcast recently,
Right.
too.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and I really,
Interesting.
I specifically,
He's a nice guy, man. I really like him.
Tom.
He said he sounded a bit down about his life a little bit.
Okay.
But like, I thought he seems like a really well put together gentleman. And
he's a solid dude.
I know.
He's like the thing.
He makes a great co-host for that beach house.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know. Just keep it up, Tom. Keep it up, Tom.
When I came, when I started playing.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Keep going.
Oh, when I started playing, I met Tom, and he was starting to do one of the events that he had been helping in Tokyo, in Chiba. So he was from Chiba, but I think he knew a lot more people in the Tokyo area.
Yeah.
But he was this guy, okay, that I met, and I'm like, wait a minute. He's not in a band.
No.
But he is working, like, always promoting the shows that he does do for the bands.
Yeah.
And it was so refreshing for me because usually it's like there's the one guy in the band who's pushing the show, right?
Yeah.
And so suddenly it's like, this is just a guy who really likes music, wants to, encourage and help the scene. Right?
He's like an engineer type of guy,
Yeah,
right? Like he is an engineer.
Right.
He's really good at like the nuts and bolts types of things, and like musicians need that.
Right,
because
right.
I can be somebody else's engineer, but I can't be my own engineer.
Right, it's like the editor.
Yeah,
Everyone needs an editor.
Being your own editor is a catastrophic
Yes, it is.
relationship.
Yeah.
You'll just hate everything you do.
Right. Or you won't see
You'll
any
hate
of
it
the
even
terrible,
more.
Or you'll think, this is amazing.
Yeah.
No typos at all.
No typos.
That's the problem. When I started, I started out as a playwright, right? I was writing plays, and it was a really funny thing. The first drafts of my plays had 0 question marks. It's just this weird thing. But if it got to a read-through stage, it didn't affect anybody's reading, because you get to the question mark at the end, right? It doesn't actually help you know how to read the line.
Oh, you did it on purpose?
No, I didn't do it on purpose at all. I just was like, I was a writer. I wasn't good at grammar. I was a good writer.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, where were we? Tom. Yeah. So
Tom.
the reason, it's very. There was purpose in selecting Tom for this because he plays Dr. Michaels. It's his fault that there's the zombie virus
he's
apocalypse.
the engineer.
He was the doctor.
Yeah.
He plays Dr. Michaels. And the reason why I really wanted him to do it was because I've seen so many great shows where he was the host, of the show.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, it's obvious that the character who plays like what we'd call the chorus, right? Like the host, the breaking the fourth wall,
okay.
For
Of course, you mean from Greek plays.
Yeah,
Okay.
like he's the guy who's explaining why you're listening to the songs and the diary entries that you're going to hear.
Sure, like a narrator.
Yes,
type of
yeah,
thing.
exactly. So yeah, it was, for me, it was like easy, like to figure out who would be that character, right?
Neat.
And I did this in Canada last year.
The whole thing. So
Yeah.
you've already performed it.
Yes.
Where did you perform it?
It's called the Trailside Inn and Cafe. It's in my home. Well, it's in Mount Stewart, but it's in Charlottetown area in Prince Edward Island.
Oh, okay.
And it's like I was really lucky. 3 years ago, I just thought when I go home, I'm going to try to play a show. And if you look at the other people who are playing at Trailside, it's kind of like these are like some pretty big name Canadian guys coming through. And so I was like, I want to try to get to play this place. And the owner kind of said, yeah, sure, man, Thursday night, I'll give you a Thursday night. And then I sold out. So he was, happy with the situation. So the next year with the band members, my old buddies and my brother on drums, I said, hey, you guys want to do a zombie folk rock opera? And so we did it there. Yeah, so I've reworked a lot because I think there were some little gems that I had that were kind of hometown little jokes or
Sure.
things that I kind of like had to get rid of kind of thing for the Tokyo one. And the big difference is this one will have a PowerPoint presentation because we're trying to make it more accessible to, second language speakers and listeners, So,
Sure, yeah.
so there's going to be a lot of this book projected, images of the book projected on the big screen just to help, right? A little, yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
What a crazy fucking project, man.
Yeah,
So this gets back to the idea of you mentioning adding value.
Right, like,
So
why...
what's the value?
Well, that it's a story and that, like, I want to entertain people more than just kind of, I don't know, like facilitate some kind of need to be on stage. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd rather do one big show a year than have 6 people listen to me 24 times in the year, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's a really good point.
so it's a little bit of a vulnerable situation because I'm asking people to accept the value that I've asked them to.
Right.
And that's a very hard thing for, I'm a recovering Catholic. Like the idea that I'm even asking for money to,
Yeah, I mentioned 2,000 yen, and you're like, oh, I think that's...
Yeah,
But
like
for me, it was just like, that sounds totally reasonable.
Right, like,
I paid 3,000 yen to get into Muteki's
Okay.
CD release party a few weeks ago.
Did you get a CD out of that 3,000?
You know what? CDs are just kind of a formality these days.
Yeah.
Whether you get the business card or not, you don't really keep track of it.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Well, yeah. I think because I don't know. I buy a lot of CDs.
You're still a CD guy.
No, hey, I just saw you play and I know you didn't get any cash to play tonight, so I want to give you cash.
Okay.
And I have a bookshelf of Tokyo Chiba,
That's
like,
pretty interesting after a while.
indie acts.
I just don't have enough space in my house.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember when bookshelves were kind of like the Facebook thing, like where it was like, oh, did you notice my Kubrick Criterion collection on my bookshelf?
Yeah,
Don't you see how intelligent I am?
Yeah,
Now it's
yeah.
Facebook likes or like,
Yeah,
take a look.
I'm getting away from that totally. Yeah, the whole aspect of adding value. for me, it's gaining control.
Okay.
I'm just being totally like, I'm kind of long gaming it, knowing that I'm getting old anyways. But I'm just trying to get complete control.
Right.
And that way maybe add some value.
Yeah. Well, and even if it doesn't, like you're left with a process that allows you to repeat, right?
Yeah.
It's like what the new term would be, like it's your own algorithm, you know, like,
sure,
you know, kind of thing, where like if you can get your process, and like this is a problem I have a lot of the times with really awesome technically proficient musicians, where
I feel guilty just being in the same room as them.
Well, but for me, it comes down to they can a lot of people can replicate very well, but they're scared of writing their own song, or they're like limiting themselves by their inner critic to not go forward. And you've got to write terrible songs. You got to go through that and bust through. Yeah. And eventually you get a gem out of that work.
You polish off the chaos. Yeah,
but even if, like, I think you polish more than I do because I move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So I think I've got a backlog that if someone ever, if I like died and someone found all my stuff, maybe they could like mix 100 songs I recorded but I didn't mix.
Okay.
Because I'm just like, I want to repeat my process, I want to do it for other people too. So another thing that I've been doing lately is we call it play my guitar. So essentially, you come to me, I use my equipment, my guitar, you don't have to bring anything. And everybody's basically got the same, elements, the same mic, the same situation, my guitar. So no matter if I do a terrible job, right? Imagine if I do a terrible job at the recording process.
I just imagined it.
And you did, right?
Yeah.
In the end, you've got 20 people who have the same quality of sound on a CD.
It's consistent.
And it's consistent, right? And it just absolutely doesn't matter anymore. But the only reason I'm doing this is because I go to shows and I see someone play, but they don't have anything to sell. And then I ask, when can I give you money? When can I give you value? How can I do that for you?
Yeah.
Right? And so I guess a lot of people don't care to make the CD because maybe the value for them is more like the theme park situation where they got to go on the ride of the live show and there's nothing more needed from them in that, Whereas I would like maybe, like I know we talked about the CD situation, right? Like if you spend so much money to make a CD, you kind of want to be able to get that money back through selling the CD. Like that would kind of make sense, right?
Yeah. But I don't want to be a CD salesman anymore.
Right.
When I was talking about this yesterday with Mike and Jude. Like, I ordered a ton of CDs. I get them, and I'm like, I like the quality. The recording is fine. Yeah. Recording is great. Professional musicians.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about your album?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic, man. Yeah.
And then I just see giant boxes of product, and I'm like, I have to sell these. In order to get rid of these, I have to move them. I have to set up an entire distribution network to hawk something that really people don't really want.
Yeah. Well, this is...
They want the music, but...
This is one of the only countries where they still do, though. I mean, Korea and Japan still have...
Most of it's just
way
pops,
higher. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
some of those numbers are juked because bands like AKB48, there's 48 members.
Yeah.
So
there's 72, really.
Each CD has a card of one member.
Okay.
And then these otaku types will collect
all
of the cards.
Oh my God.
So that one release will have one customer buying it multiple times for the card. It's a genius marketing aspect.
Oh, those guys they're on it.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
and it does sell, though.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mike Navarro.
Yeah.
And he has a recording studio in Okinawa. And he says it's like he makes his money off of K-pop and J-pop and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the guys that I know who have like,
which is fine,
legitimate studios, it's all post-production stuff. They're not even making music. They're doing like cleaning up a background track for a movie, you know. But that's what their studio.
Yeah.
And then they let guys like me come in and pay them basically the heating bill and the electric bill, right? To do it, you know. But they know none of us, you know. So I value him and I give him
sure.
I give him something,
yeah, give
right?
him something.
Yeah.
You were talking about the one thing that you're mentioning about the guitar thing that you got, Play My Guitar,
yeah.
is that you said like it doesn't matter if the recording is off, there's a consistency in the sound.
Right.
And I was thinking about that a lot recently, how like the 70s, like in Motown areas or in funk areas, like you can imagine how like toms sound on funk albums,
right,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
how rock toms sounded differently, and things like the quality, the microphoning and the people were so localized that
yep.
the music was sounding a lot different.
Right.
But
yeah.
I feel these days recording is very standardized. So the fact that you would have your own sound is actually very appealing because there's the area with that sound.
Yeah, I think that's all we have against, you know, just automated computers making our music, right?
Yeah.
Like, computer, make me a happy song. Oh, nailed it.
Nailed it.
He took the 50 happy songs I like and created a new song based on the chords and the lyrical, you know, intent.
Have you seen Sony has an artificial intelligence section for its music creators? And
so there's really AIs are making music?
They're assisting.
Okay.
So they will, because AI needs data sets.
Right,
and they'll
right.
put in all of the Beatles songs,
yeah.
and it will spit out, the AI will spit out a melody.
Right.
And the songwriter will take that melody and then play with it. So it's like collaborative work where the AI produces certain lines, and based on the quality of a line, a human will take it
right.
and then work with it to make it a full song.
Yeah, that's nuts. There was I can't remember if it was like a European songwriting thing that they actually got like sued. Someone proved that they did that they were taking like pop songs and melting them into a new one.
Yeah.
And that was like maybe 10 years ago when they actually got caught. Maybe nobody will get caught anymore.
It's gonna get hard. You know what? I think music laws should be anarchy. I think music needs
Absolutely.
to like there should not be copyright laws.
There should be copyright laws that are so like seasonal. That's what it should be.
Sunset clauses.
Yeah, very like quick sunsets on everything.
And melody, like songs, you shouldn't be able to steal a song, but you should be able to like play a song. Like after a couple of years, like on YouTube, you can't play other people's songs.
Oh, right.
On your podcasts, because then it will say like, yeah, it's been demonetized.
Yes,
so
yeah.
it
Or muted.
It
Yes,
disincentivizes people to actually proliferate music naturally.
Right, yeah.
Whereas if I just played some music here, people would be able to hear it. But but if I put it on a YouTube podcast, suddenly there's all these laws that descend on you because you're publishing.
Right.
So, yeah,
because because of the monetization, right?
So I want if I have a song and somebody plays it on a podcast and that podcast gets like 100,000 views, some of that money, some of those people might come to me,
right,
and buy the song. So it's free advertising.
Right.
But the major bands are actually the ones that are sort of guarding these laws.
Yeah.
Because Rolling Stones, like if you look at all the top charts for streaming, digital downloads, it's all the same. It's all the same people. It's all Beyonce, it's Led Zeppelin, it's Maroon 5. And they're like the top 20 are basically all the same, except for a few that shift around a bit here and there, depending on the popular one of the year. And these are the ones that are being, promoted by major companies that have the highest paid lawyers available to work around these laws to protect their industry. It's industry protectionism. And it kind of really avoids newcomers coming into it with a different competitive model, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Like that's everything. That's every human. Like.
So the music should be anarchy.
Situation.
I think if like we should have like an anarchy clause for the next 10 years. There is no copyright law on music.
Yeah.
And just see what comes out of it. It would be amazing. But,
I think they've already moved on anyway. I think that the people, the way people consume music now is just so different.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Alexa, play rock music.
Yes, play rock music.
Genre, please.
Like I'm doing the
select any genre you want.
Right.
Our algorithm will decide. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What was I gonna
say? So it's funny for me because like I'm doing the Tragically Hip stuff tonight, right? And those were like physical CDs I had that I played the poop out of.
Yeah, I remember.
Like just like in my car all the time, and we consumed music differently. There was a scarcity. There was, especially where I'm from. You're from Victoria, or
I'm from a small town.
Okay.
I studied university. I went to university in Victoria.
Okay.
But I'm from like a place called Stony Plain, Alberta.
Yeah, okay.
5,000 people, and also Comox, Vancouver Island, which is as well less than 10,000 people.
So you went through the $28.99 CD era.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. Like when you wanted. Like I remember seeing, Backstreet Boys is $16.99 and Built to Spill is $28.99, and it's like, oh my God, I like that band and I'm gonna cherish that CD because it was $30, to buy with taxes.
I was mowing lawns and I would be like, okay, I was budgeting. I had like a CD budget. I'd be like, okay, I can afford 5 CDs this month, and that would be like $60, Roxanne.
Right.
But that's that's Apple streaming.
Yeah.
5 or 10 people.
Right.
With all the music, anytime you want.
Yeah. I have a friend. I mean, this isn't me, right?
Lucky
I have
you.
a friend, okay? And him and his friends
Maybe
downloaded.
He's the lucky one.
Yeah, I think he is. He is the lucky one. It's obviously not me. I'm talking about a friend, because I would never incriminate myself.
And this friend is talking about an acting class he took.
No, this friend and his friends,
who are actors,
they downloaded 80,000 songs over about a year.
Yeah.
And they were pretty hardcore about it, like itemizing and putting into albums and all that stuff, like finding like LimeWire, Napster, like way back, right?
Thank you. I forgot about LimeWire. It was like, what was the green one?
Yeah, it was the one that you got if you wanted to give your computer AIDS.
Yeah.
That's basically what LimeWire was. It was a way to give your computer AIDS.
With really dodgy pornography.
Yeah. Or just the pop-ups that, anyway. But so, these guys, right, my friend, they stole, right? They stole so much money's worth or whatever. And they could have been caught. They could have been like those kids who were on Pepsi commercials saying, "Don't download anymore, kids," But
like the Pope in a golden throne asking for donations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this place is falling apart here. Yeah. So it's a weird situation where, do you remember when you couldn't find any Saturday Night Live on YouTube? It was YouTube was so strict, it was all strict.
Yeah, it was.
And then suddenly Saturday Night Live's like, oh wait, money, let's make a channel. And then all of a sudden it's like, great, see?
As well.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to YouTube.
Right.
30% of the network of the company I work at, 30% is YouTube.
Oh, no way. What do you mean by, it's content?
The data. So,
okay.
You know how, it's a telecommunications company, and it's a huge one. And
but
YouTube,
they're on YouTube.
No. Their network. So, their network has downloading and streaming from their network.
I see.
30% is YouTube from all of the users. So in the pie chart of the network capacity, YouTube at one point, 2 years ago, was at 30%.
Yeah. So they don't care anymore about that value. They know it's diminished. They know music. So Spotify now.
That's good information, by the way.
Yeah. So they know that now, and so they can do they can devalue the super people, right?
Yeah.
Like
The
Beyonce
super people are
and,
coming into it.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, like how in Japan, like it's totally okay for like a super famous person to do like Kentucky Fried Chicken or, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah,
that would
sure.
be like that would be a career killer.
It's called a tie-up, and it has a very positive feeling.
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
yeah.
Congratulations.
But, you know, we're cynical in North America. We'd be like, what? Brad Pitt on a cell phone commercial? Come on, guys.
Come on.
You know, that is ludicrous. And as I was an actor in Canada.
Doesn't he know about radio frequency?
Right. And I need
Not
that,
healthy,
right?
Brad Pitt.
I need that money as the low-level actor, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think in Japan it's probably even harder because if Haruka Ayase is doing Kentucky Fried Chicken, well, that girl who's like trying to break in doesn't have that commercial, right? She get Michael J. Fox, right? Pepsi. He drinks the Pepsi.
He could barely even open the Pepsi.
Yeah,
can.
he was too frail.
Too frail, too shaky.
And
It was just
then
spray. They had to do so many takes.
it's a little prophetic then, the way you put it. I don't think I remember seeing that outtake,
Oh, really?
but that's a little prophetic for anyway. But yeah, so it is like the ladder. They've like cut a lot of the runs, you know, at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So to preserve, I believe the people call this, what is it, end game capitalism? Is that what that's called?
Oh,
like
yeah.
just consume even the stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
like let's sell the factory too.
With Japan, it's so strict that like a few years ago there was like a Miss International or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Was Japanese, and she didn't want to go through Dentsu Advertising Corporation. She decided to go independent, blacklisted from
Whoa,
Japanese
how
media.
dare you?
And
Yeah.
stalked.
Yeah. Oh
And
God. Oh.
So
Yeah.
if you don't go with the flow,
Yeah.
then the system comes
Yeah.
down hard.
Oh, hey, I was thinking about making a union. Oh, Mickey, don't worry. We have a union. It's right here. Just go through the door. We'll help you.
Yeah.
The General Union.
General.
And then now you're on a list.
Yeah.
Just give me your name. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not on a union. I'm really independent at the moment. It's quite nice.
Yeah. It is for a while, though, but you know, yeah. How old are you now?
I'm about to turn 38.
Okay, so I'm 40 this year. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's the big existential number and all that. I'm supposed to be
So you're 40
worried.
years old and you're making zombie apocalypse musicals.
That's right, yeah.
When you look at your friends who have cars and families,
Yeah.
do you ever think about being a normie?
I think that my family is such a big car family that they bored me of cars very early.
Yeah.
And so I've never really cared about having a car. I do have my own place, though. So, you know, I did manage that.
You have your own school?
I have a school. Yeah, I have a school. So, you know, I'm a great immigrant tale. You know, I came to this country with the shirt on my back, you know, and $2,500 in traveler's checks because that's what the visas made you have or whatever, you know. Yeah. And some people ask, you know, would you be an actor in Japan? Right? Because that's what I was doing before.
Yeah, I had
don't,
similar aspirations.
But I don't know. Yeah. I think for the foreign community, you're just going to be like maybe a foreigner in a commercial because that was cool. But like, I don't know if there's any chance of, like, do you know any like I guess there's that why Japanese people guy.
Yeah.
He's broken.
Ryan something.
Yeah.
But
Japanese people guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. And even the musicians that I know that are professional, are background musicians,
Right.
they're supporters. They're great musicians and they do well, but
Right.
they're not playing their music. They're more the sessional types,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is
Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah,
There's
but that's again, that's like that is the plumber, right? Because someone is already valued him to play and get paid, and so that's what he's doing.
They're also badass, and sometimes like
or they'll play with you.
What's her name? Amy.
Oh yeah,
Blackschlager.
Yeah.
She has a wonderful voice.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think a Japanese record company doesn't want to have a katakana accent. So if it's a Japanese opera singer, they might have an accent. so she can provide top level vocals.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
To tracks without having a Japanese accent in them. That's very niche market.
Right.
Niche. I like niche. Niche sounds better to me.
Niche.
French pronunciation instead of German.
Nietzsche's in here somewhere.
So, one thing about this zombie apocalypse book is that, like, we are living in a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, you caught that, did you? Did you notice? Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
I played a show last night, and I had maybe an alpha brain and too much whiskey. And I had with me a cajon and an acoustic guitar.
Okay.
And it's kind of getting late, and we get to this station to go home. Played a good show. And everybody, the train doors open, and it's just a packed train, and everybody is looking at their phone. And everybody is trying to find space to put their phone. Right. But I have this giant box on my back and a guitar, but nobody is accommodating.
I will murder you.
I just said, you are trying to use the empty space to put your smartphone. I'm using the empty space to put my acoustic guitar and my cajon. And I made no mistake. And I get in there, boom, and I'm crushed against all these people.
Sorry.
I got like one guitar pointing this way, my cajon's like blocking.
Oh, God,
but nobody really notices anything. Everyone's just trying to use their smartphone. So I start like kind of nudging my guitar a little bit, and the neck of the guitar case is like poking this guy's phone, and he's like kind of getting angry, and he goes, and I keep pushing him, and he kind of pushes me.
He needs his dopamine.
He doesn't push me to get out of the way. He pushes me so that he could find space to put his phone.
Because he's playing that game that has gems.
And I tortured the fuck out of this guy. And like, he's just playing this shitty 8-bit game. It's not even important. And eventually I lean in, and I'm just like, why are you looking at me? You can go somewhere else. This game is meaningless. This data you're using is meaningless. You think it's so important that you look at me, and I just rail right into this motherfucker, because in my mind, he's transporting his consciousness into an alternate dimension.
Sure, yeah. This is Black Mirror stuff.
He's turning a utility, a train, into his living room.
Yeah.
And and it wasn't that it's him. It's that he's an example of everybody else doing it.
Yeah.
And I can't do this.
Right.
It's driving me nuts. And I really got... And then when it came to my stop, I have my car and my guitar. It's like super bulky as shit, and it's a packed train.
You gotta get out now.
And I go like... I'm like, you digital zombies, move out of the way. I have a whale of acoustic media. I scream it. And some people kind of laugh, but the person by the door was on their phone and didn't even hear me. And as I get up to them, my guitar kind of bumps their elbow, and they go, whoa. They didn't...
The phone, precious phone.
But I was screaming, drunk off my ass. And because they're so unaware of their surroundings, so lost in their phone, if you're more than 5 feet away, somebody screaming is not going to even register.
Yeah.
And
so I blame Sony. The Walkman started it all. The Walkman pacified humans, right? It's like that's the beginning, was plug in our ears, get our ears out of this world.
Well,
but now we've got our eyes out of this world, you know?
For me, there's so much auditory pollution. Like most of what we hear in the city is not useful to our soul. It's announcements, it's beep, boop, beep, boop.
I commend the evil people. They just wanted it more. You know, I think that's all it is.
I always have my headphones on because I can actually study. It's found time. It's found time, and I use that.
Well, that's what that guy thinks too, though, right? But that's the thing. He thinks like, I'm gonna level up tonight. I'm gonna get the third gem in the.
He hates his life. He hates his fucking life, and he's just trying to find a way to kill time.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't have to deal with his actual surroundings.
Yeah.
And he's opting
he just
out.
wants, it's dopamine, man. It's all a reward and all that stuff.
So how does that tie into? I know we got to get going soon.
I think I got to get on stage soon.
So tying up here, how does this zombie apocalypse can it be compared to the zombification of the public?
I think.
Experiencing right now?
I think that...
Because I wanted to talk to you about the zombie apocalypse because I have the zombies in my mind already.
Right.
If there's any correlation there or whatever.
I think the big correlation is that there are some people, not the zombies, right? There are some people who will exploit any situation, and that maybe there already are disasters or like big things that got exploited by people, right? And you know, I think this is also a theme in The Walking Dead, right?
Okay.
That the humans are more, you know, you got to be worried about humans more than zombies. Zombies are not a very good monster. I mean, they're not really, they're manageable. They're manageable.
Okay, you're
right.
right.
They're manageable, but they're in high population areas, they are trouble, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think there's that. And I think there's the, you know, the loss of connection, right? That when you meet somebody, you don't know whether you can trust them because they may want to eat you or they may want to help you. But like The Road, again, you know, like they couldn't trust anybody, right? Like, and even at the end, it's so beautiful that you're watching it thinking like, oh my God, it's either they're telling him the truth and he's going to be a part of this new family, or he's like dinner in like 5 minutes, right? Yeah. And you don't know.
You don't know.
Right? You won't know. So, I think that's like that kind of tie-in.
Are they Hollywood, California, or are they Mountain, California?
You're right. Yeah.
Mountain, California will help you out. Hollywood, California will...
They're going to eat you alive.
Eat you alive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, I hope this goes well, and thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast. Great to have you back. Where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Mickey Acorn. You can find the Facebook event for Dear Lucy there, too, at What the Dickens, July 22nd. And I'm sure if you just Google my name, you'll find lots of stupid things, like poetry from 1998, like that kind of good stuff, you know? Yeah. You just do that. Find my criminal record, why I came to Japan, you know, all of that, you know. Anyway,
we didn't have that conversation today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Peace.
Impossible. You know I'm getting better, even though it looks like I'm getting worse. You can hold your heart in a bottle, I'll put my wings in the dirt. You know when I'm getting worse is when I tell you I'm getting better. I'll hold your heart in a bottle and pray for better weather. Hoping for better weather, 'cause I'm so sick of all this cold. I'm hoping for better weather, so I can go down the new road. Hoping for better weather, 'cause I'm so sick of all this cold. I'm hoping for better weather, so I can go down the new road.
Zombie apocalypse coming. We go to the Dairy Queen. Talk about it.
I wonder if you're out there, and how many people you killed. I wonder if I saw you, would I have the will? You know when I'm getting worse is when I tell you I'm getting better. I'll hold your heart in a bottle and pray for better weather.